The lesson.
Oh yeah.
Now, for me personally, Lyrical Commission, The Stage Is Set, is probably my favourite Australian rap album of all time to date. And when I did a bit of research, I think you pretty much have the same sort of opinion.
Yeah, man. Like, that was like, especially what I was saying before, you know, coming up on that style of hip hop, you know, Outer Space, Army of the Pharaohs, Jenna Mind Tricks, obviously there's a lot of parallels. You know, LC had the track with Self-Titled, and Brad Strut had the track with Outer Space and that. So yeah, for me to find something like that, like locally, was really kind of like so good, you know what I mean? And that album is just, still to this day, you know, I saw Brad Strut play with Posse Shot a couple of weeks ago, and he played Carlton United Tragedy, and that was just like a bit of a mind-blown moment, you know? Even meeting Brad, you know, I don't get starstruck that often. Like, I'm saying the three people I've ever got starstruck off was Kim Kardashian, Pete Evans, because I'm a big fan of My Kitchen Rules, Pete Evans, and Brad Strut, bro. Like, I met him a couple weeks back at the Posse Shot show. One of the mutual friends introduced us at the show, and, you know, such a nice guy. Like, you know, obviously I've always said, you know, if LC wrote Hate the Scene, I was like, bro, I probably feel like they're talking about me in 2022, you know what I mean? You know, there's always that, obviously I work with a lot more commercial acts and stuff like that, so there's always that part of me which is like, oh, I don't know, like if it's going to be weird or anything, but yeah, I met Brad like at the show, and I've hung out with him a couple of times since. When I go down to Melbourne, always link up with, you know, Carney Muscles and Denter and those guys, and, you know, Brad's around, and we had Korean barbecue like 2 weeks ago, and, you know, such a nice guy, like such a nice guy, and, you know, it's fully starstruck the first time, but now it's cool, like, you know, we chat on Instagram or whatever, and yeah, really nice guy, and that's just like a bit of a full circle moment for me, you know, listening to LC back then, and then actually getting to meet Brad and chop it up with him is just crazy to me, you know? Yeah.
Now, one of the most iconic things that I feel Brad's ever done, or that, you know, in Oz rap history to date, was his single Monopoly. Where, you know, he that was basically directed at Obese at the time. Now, when I first heard Monopoly, I was just like blown away for many reasons. Like, obviously the production, the bars, and just the fact that, you know, him and his camp were just going head to head with like the powerhouse of Oz rap at the time. So it was a very big deal for me, and I guess for everyone that was a fan. Do you recall when Strut dropped Monopoly, and if so, like, what you thought of it when it first came out?
Honestly, I wasn't like, back then I was into the hip hop, but I wasn't really around like the politics of really what was going on behind the scenes. So I can't really speak on like, I obviously thought it was a mad track, but like I didn't have the intricacies of like what was going on at the time, you know what I mean? Like, I think back then Obese were they still dropping like Cursor records and stuff? Like, I didn't even remember what was happening back then. I remember hearing the track and thinking, yeah, this is sick, but like in terms of the impact and stuff, I don't think I really realized until like a lot later, because like I wasn't really that deep into it, you know what I mean? Like, I was still, when did that track come out? It's probably like 2006, 7?
Yeah, I reckon 7.
Yeah, so I would have been 16. So yeah, like, I mean, back then, like, yeah, I wasn't into it that heavy. Like, I was into it, but I wasn't really going to shows and stuff yet, you know, because I was 15 or 16, you know. So yeah, I think it was only a bit later that I fully realized, like, and even now when you, like, if we're talking about LC or Brad Strut more broadly, you know, it's only kind of like, you know, this big resurgence we've had in boom bap or more kind of like lyrical driven hip hop, you know. It's sometimes it just takes a couple of years for you to fully see like how much impact, you know, an artist has. So yeah, it's cool to see, man. Yeah, for sure.
Now, for me, the first time I came across Lyrical Commission was that joint, the joint with J Red, Custom Made, and because I have a DJ background in particular, that really hit. I mean, the beat was dope, the raps were dope, and just the way that they kind of made Jay stand out like a rapper, you know, because often you've got the rappers in the front, the DJ in the back. He came through like one of the shining stars of the group, and I was just like, wow, this is incredible. And then I heard the whole album and I'm blown away front to back. Now, for you personally, is there a particular song off that album that really kind of made you go, yeah, this is it. I'm following these guys?
Yeah, I think I heard Murderous Metaphors before I heard Stage Your Set. Because I found the ad. I remember the cover of the magazine had Method Man and Redman on it. It was Stealth Mag, if anyone remembers the issue, but it had an ad for Murderous Metaphors in there, and it was actually Sync Quick off that EP, which is just Strut and Balance on it. But that one, something about the beat and just the way that they're going back to back off the verses was crazy to me. And then off Stage Your Set, it's probably just like, Press Release or Carlton United Tragedy is kind of like the ones off that record for me personally, yeah.
The lesson. 927. Oh, yeah.